Hello my friends and welcome out to another episode of Build a Better Bike. In today's episode I'm going to fix up, build up, and maybe even flip a bike with the goal of only using components and parts that I have lying around the shop. In other words, a parts bin build, or what I'll lovingly refer to as the Frankenbuild. The platform for this Frankenbuild will be a 2018 Salsa Deadwood, which I got on the cheap because the previous owner over-tightened the seat post collar and cracked the carbon seat tube a little bit, so we're going to need to repair that. But first, let's see if we can find enough parts and components to actually come away with a complete build. Before we...
Yes, I know, my garage, my shop is a mess, a disaster. Don't judge me. Alright, here we go with brake stuff. Let's get rid of all this. That would be fun, but no. So it looks like we've got two level levers and one level caliper. We've got a Dior lever caliper. Ooh, an XT caliper. These might have leaks. New seals might be why they're in here. And a level caliper. Ooh, and an XT. This looks like it probably had a leak. I think that's why I have it in here. So should I go with the Shimano, knowing these might have some leaks? I only have one Shimano lever though, so I think I'm just gonna go with the levels because I have a complete set and I know these came off of a bike that they didn't have any problems. They were just an upgrade, so we'll go with these. Okay, we've got derailleur shifters and some grips. Probably a 12-speed. Oh, it's an SX. If it's in here though, the likelihood of it having problems is high. That NX looks brand new. I don't even remember where this came from, but it does look new. So hang on to that. That might be an option. Looks like the spring is okay, but we already have an NX option. Here's an 11-speed. We have an XT and another NX. Is it 11-speed though? See, I'm worried I won't have an 11-speed cassette. Grips, it looks like we've got some grips happening here. I'm gonna go with these ones though. The Supercaz. I have an 11-speed shifter, but I've had trouble with box. This generation of box, they were problematic and a pain in the butt. I don't even know why I have this in here because I think I vowed I would never try it again. Let's see what cassettes we've got. 12-speed. 9-speed. That is not zip tied together, unfortunately. That looks like it might be thin enough to be an 11 or 12-speed though. We do have this, which appears to be 11-speed. These are all too little. Power meter, anyone? I guess we could make it a single speed. I guess I could use the Shimano 12-speed. I mean, they're interchangeable. It's no problem to use a 12-speed SRAM derailleur on a 12-speed Shimano cassette. The issue might be the micro spline. Not sure I have a micro spline hub driver. This is dominoing, but for now, let's try that. Let's see if this will work. Let's look through our box of shifters. This is an mountain bike 12-speed shifter, so that will definitely work, but it's only single shift, so you can't ratchet through multiple gears at once. We have another E. It's a GX though. That's a little nicer. Maybe we'll use that one. Okay, we already have a fork, so we don't need to look at those, but now is the time where we see what handlebars we've got to work with here. A carbon race face next. That's probably a good option, but it's not super wide. It looks like we've been chopped down a bit. No thanks. Some no-name carbon. Ooh, that's carbon too. But it looks like someone tried to paint it. I don't know if that someone was me. I don't think so. I don't think I remember doing that. So let's see. It's not quite as long. So it looks like we're gonna get a nice race face next handlebar. That'll be fun. What is that? It looks like really wide. I think that's for Cannondale. But I think, oh yeah, that's a 31.8, so that would work. That's a little bit too long. Got the spank, that's 35, so too wide. What's this? I think this is 35 mil. That could work, the Synchros, or the Bontrager. I don't know, it could go either way. This one's a little more subtle though. The orange is a little loud. Let's go with the Bontrager seat post, but I already know what I'm gonna use because, oh, I forgot we have a reverb dropper, but also an SDG dropper. But I don't know, I'd rather not deal with the hydraulics. So we'll go with the SDG. This one's not perfect. I know it has some issues, but it basically works. It's only 125 millimeter, but the Deadwood does use a 31.6, so this is gonna work, and we're in luck. What we're not lucky with is, and I do have a new package for cabling. What I do not have is a lever, I don't think. I'm gonna have to do some digging, but I think that might be the one thing I'm gonna have to buy. Oh, no, I don't. I forgot about that. Yes, okay. We do have one lever, which is one of my favorite, the E13. I forget what it's called. I can't remember. But these, I bought a bunch of these because they were, a couple years ago, they were offering these at such a low price. I think because E13 was trying to get their dropper out there and more visible. They're more expensive now than they were a couple years ago, but I got a bunch of them. And so I like them. I like the texture of the dropper. It feels really nice. I like how adjustable they are. Anyway, that'll work. All right, time to find a wheel set. I do have a bunch of rims if I have to. That I need a micro spline, and I do have one. I remembered, and it is here still, which is great. And it's a 25 inner diameter, which that's not ideal for a Deadwood because a Deadwood is kind of a plus size tire bike. So, but I do have the hub, so I may pull the hub off, and it looks like I do have a rotor on there already, but I might pull this hub off and put it on a different rim. So let's see what else we got. And I do have this spank as well, which is pretty thick. Actually, this might be the guy I use. It's inner diameter. It looks like, oh, it's a 35. So yeah, this might be our guy. This has needed a project for a while anyway. It's been sitting in my garage collecting dust. Yeesh, okay. Let's see what we've got as far as front. There's this guy, but it's not very wide rim. Okay, we got some stance flow in here, and then we have this guy, WTB. This is really thick, and this is gonna work. Yes, I-35. This is new, so technically I wanted to use used stuff, but I didn't buy this. I've had this in here in my new rims for a while, but this will work. It's not gonna match the spank in the front. Actually, I wonder which one would be better. Maybe this would be better in the back, or maybe it doesn't really matter. I'll give that some thought, but we will need a hub, front hub, so let's see what we have. Okay, front hub. I actually love this little hub. It's a Chinese one, but it's only 100 millimeter wide. That one is missing a driver, which I do have some drivers, but I'd rather not deal with that. So here we go, formula. I'm not sure if this is 100 or 110 though. Let's find out. We could just use this. This is lighter than the formula anyway. Can't believe how well this is working out so far. What do we have left? I think we just need spokes, which I'm gonna buy new spokes. That's the one thing I'll have to make an exception for. I'm glad I checked this though, because it looks like I'm missing the cap on this 900. I wouldn't have noticed that if I didn't just double check that this needed a 110 and that this was a 110, and just checked it for fitment. So that's not gonna work. I'm gonna need to see if I can find the cap for that, order one, or I don't know, maybe see, I mean, I do have other front hubs on other rims. I just would hate to pull another rim apart just to cannibalize a front hub. I have these guys, but I don't remember what they are. Maxxis 2.6, I mean, that's kind of plus size, almost plus size. Where are we here? This is Recons. Yep, another Recon 2.6, so I can use these. So that'll work. I'd rather 2.8s, but my goal was really just not to spend money on this build.
Since this is a budget Frankenbuild, I just eyeballed some paint that I think works nicely with the bike's color palette. No time or money for expensive color matching here. And since we're already patching some paint, I decided to take some of the more egregious paint chipping and damage that has occurred on this bike here on the aluminum rear triangle and patch that up as well. There are other smaller paint chips elsewhere on the bike, many in fact, but I'm only feeling enough gumption to fix these large chips on the aluminum. If I were to exert more effort, I would probably just end up stripping the whole bike and starting over, but that would totally take away from the lovely Frankenbuild motif that we have going. With the suspension serviced and the frame repaired, this deadwood is looking as good as used again. And that means it's Frankenbuild time. If you'll recall, we were missing a cap on that SRAM 900 hub, and to replace that would have been more expensive than just buying an affordable Shimano front hub, so that's what we did. So I did have to spend a little bit of money here, and I also had to buy some spokes, but I did not have to buy the Cushcore valve stem that I'll use, as I did have those in the bin. I mentioned earlier that the sponsor of this video is Temu, but if I didn't love one of the products that I got from them, I wouldn't mention it here. However, there were several products that I was impressed by, and I'm just blown away by the price. This bearing press from Temu is a great example. It worked smooth as butter for pressing these cups back on the frame, and it's a tool that I'll use even for my more professional builds.
And yes, I know I'm missing a bolt. I'll figure that out, find one before the first ride. Don't worry, don't freak out in the comments.
I really love this sort of US patriotic, but not quite sure they got the pattern right, Torx multi-tool. It's cute, and I don't know what it is about my other Torx wrenches, but my kids are constantly losing them, so having them all together in a multi-tool makes a lot of sense. I wouldn't probably use Allen wrenches in a multi-tool like this, But with Torx, they're usually not in tight spaces, and it actually works great as a multi-tool. Long-time mechanics will know that derailleur hanger straightening tools are essential, but also unreasonably expensive. However, this one from Temu does everything that my Park Tool one does, but at a fraction of the price. These Temu cable cutters are robust and work great. We'll use them again. I was so impressed by the functionality of this needle driver from Temu. It's so much better than my Jaguar needle driver without question, and again, do I even need to say this? It's significantly more affordable, so this is a no-brainer. I've gone through 2 cable routing kits over the past 2 years, one from Park and one from an off-brand. It's just one of those things that gets abused though, and it falls apart after lots of bike building and running cables through frames. My Park tool one especially was disappointing. It was expensive and it didn't last very long. But this one from Temu does exactly the same thing, looks just as robust, and I'm just gonna use this kit from now on. Even if the quality is slightly less, there's still no reason not to, as these cable routing tools do get abuse. This is actually the first time I've ever used one of these chain scrubbers. Since the one from Temu is so affordable, I figured why not see what I'm missing. And I know you would usually use this on a chain that's installed on the bike, but here I'm using it to get this factory grease off this new 12-speed chain, and it seemed to work great. Quick link tools are not complicated, and getting one from Temu is probably a smart idea. I got a few of these saddles from my supplier when they dropped the RAV-X brand from their lineup, and I got them for dirt cheap, so we will install one here in keeping with the Frankenbuild cheap budget build. And with some heavy used platform pedals I had kicking around, that will put the finishing touches on this Frankenbuild, which is now ready for many more years of mountain biking. If you're curious the final fate of this bike, if I'm able to sell it, whether I got any sort of return on my efforts, let me know in the comments. I'll only do a follow-up video if I have a demand for it. But in the meantime, I really hope you enjoyed this Frankenbuild. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you again real soon.